All right, welcome everyone to the second Come Alive Outside workshop. This is for our winter wellness program. My name is Myra and I'm the program director for Come Alive Outside. I'm glad to have you all here joining me to learn about sleep and some logistics. I want to ask everyone if you would please mute your microphone during the presentation, because it will take over and everybody will hear things going on around you instead of the presentation. And so thank you for that. And we will have a question and answer period at the end. If you have any questions, would you please type them into the chat, and then we will have a time and one of our presenters will read the questions and we will answer them. So we are recording the program and that will be up on the Come Alive Outside website. And so you can click on it and listen to it again and get notes. And so I want to introduce our presenters today. So we have all of our presenters are senior nursing students at the University of Vermont right now, about to graduate in the spring. And this sleep workshop is part of their public health clinical. And so I want to introduce each of them. So first we have Sydney, who is originally from Vermont, and she says she's very interested in working in oncology. We have Ella, who is originally from Rochester, New York, and loves going on hikes and swimming in Lake Champlain. We have Bella, who is from New Jersey and loves working with mobility challenged populations and helping people get active again. And Eliza, who is originally from Massachusetts and loves cats and coffee. And has her coffee. So if you would just go ahead and mute your microphones, and I'm going to let them take over the presentation.
Can everybody see that? Yes.
Okay. All right, I'll get started then. So again, I'm Bella. It's nice to see everyone that came out. Thank you so much for coming to our presentation. So today we're going to be talking about sleep and health, and answer hopefully any questions that you may have coming in about what makes up a healthy sleep routine. So before we get started, we just wanted to put out this little just statement from the University of Vermont. It's just really saying that the advice that we're giving, while it is evidence-based and it is current evidence-based information on sleep routines, if you are experiencing a more serious issue related to your sleep routine, or your questions maybe are more specific, then it's always important to get advice from your medical provider and get any prescriptions from a medical provider. We are not prescribing any treatment in this presentation. It's just for information purposes. Okay, so here's just another little slide. We have just some more little fun facts, if you will, about our presenters here. Yeah, we can move on then. So in this presentation, we've kind of divided it into a few different categories here. We're going to start off by looking at the findings from the survey that many of you filled out, so thank you for contributing to that. So we'll look at what this Come Alive Outside community's concerns are in terms of sleep routine, maybe what areas are strengths within this community's sleep routines, and where maybe there could be a little bit more support and improvement in that general process. Then we're going to go and delve into just the basics really of a sleep in general, the sleep cycle, just some background science if that's something that you have taken some interest in. And then after that, we'll go in from that science part to just more general definition of what sleep hygiene is and how you can use it in your daily life. We'll have a group exercise led by Sydney here, which we're all very excited for. That could hopefully be helpful to many of you. Sleep safety, of course, is always important. And then just addressing some of the main concerns from the survey findings in terms of creating a sleep routine and getting back to sleep if that's trouble for you, waking after waking up. And then we'll go into questions and answers that anyone here has at the end of our presentation. So for our survey findings, we're looking at, I think, around 32 different responses we had here. And we found, out of various answers and needs and strengths and weaknesses and all of that, the main common findings between this community has been, in terms of concerns, we're seeing a lot of people saying they're waking up feeling unrested. A lot of people discussing poor quality sleep. Another one, which was kind of interesting, is a lot of people had frequent bathroom visits, which contributed to their feeling of poor quality sleep. Looking at pretty a little bit below average in the amount of sleep per night, 4 to 7 hours was by far the majority of the answers. And a lot of people using TVs within an hour of sleep, which I mean, we're living in 2022 right now. Don't it's not really a surprise, but we are going to talk a little bit about how we can take some of this information and maybe change it to make our sleep routine a little bit better. So here's some more specific breakdowns of the survey that we put out, just showing the different numbers here within the Come Alive Outside group that answered. So yeah, waking up often at night, again, that's almost half of the people within this group reported that. A lot of people waking up tired and unrested, again, half of the group. Difficulty staying asleep was another major concern. It's looking like, which is great, the noisy environment concern isn't affecting quite so many people, which can be a really big barrier to getting good sleep. So it's nice to see that that number is on the lower end. But yeah, we're definitely going to focus a lot of this presentation on getting that good quality deep sleep and ways that we can use our sleep routine in order to wake up feeling more rested and to not be waking up as much at night. So we're looking forward to going over that, since it seems like it is a big area within this group to go over. And then when we're looking at things that the community does at night to prepare for sleep, again, we have some pretty large groups of people with watching TV or screen time, which I'm sure, you know, is not just reflecting of this community, but many people now that we're in such a technology-driven time. But it's great to see that a lot of people are also choosing to read instead, or use meditation and relaxation techniques for falling asleep, because those are really, really evidence-based, strong strategies for getting good quality sleep. So it's good to see that those are already implemented in a lot of people's routines here. And we'll talk a little bit about some of these a little bit more further in the presentation in terms of which of these strategies are more helpful and which of them might seem helpful but might actually be contributing to less quality sleep. So now we're going to get into that. So I'll turn it over to Ella.
All right, thank you, Bella. So before we talk about sleep hygiene, we're going to start with some basics about sleep. So each night we tend to go through 4 to 6 sleep cycles that last about an average of 90 minutes each. And there are 4 different stages that we cycle through. So stage 1 is the shortest stage, lasting only about 1 to 5 minutes. And it's in this stage that you feel yourself dozing off, but are still easily arousable. Your brain waves begin to slow from those daytime patterns, and your body begins to relax. If you're undisturbed through stage 1, you quickly enter stage 2. During this stage, your muscles relax, your heartbeat and your breathing slow, and your body temperature drops. Brain activity slows, but there are short bursts of electricity that actually help you stay asleep. And this stage typically lasts about 10 to 60 minutes. Now we move on to stage 3, which is also known as deep sleep. Here, your heartbeat and breathing slow even further, and your muscles relax even more. Brain activity during this stage has a distinct wave pattern. These are called delta waves, and these are actually the slowest brain waves that we experience. And research has shown that these waves are associated with restorative and healing sleep. And this stage actually allows the body to grow and recover. bolsters the immune system and contributes to creativity and memory. Stage 3 lasts about 20 to 40 minutes. And the next and final stage of sleep is called REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement. During this period, brain activity picks up to near wakeful levels, and at the same time, your body becomes temporarily paralyzed with the exception of the muscles that control breathing and your eyes. So although your eyes are closed, they're moving very quickly. REM sleep is essential to cognitive functions like memory, learning, and creativity. And it's also in this stage that you may experience the most vivid dreams. This REM sleep typically does not occur until you've been asleep for about 90 minutes and lasts for about 10 to 60 minutes. So if we go to the next slide here, there we go. You'll see a visualization of these stages of sleep and how long they typically last. And these stages of sleep are vital to allowing the brain and body to recuperate and develop. And failure to obtain enough sleep, especially enough deep sleep and REM sleep, can affect thinking, emotions, and physical health. All right, so now we're going to talk about 2 internal mechanisms that work together to help regulate our wake and sleep patterns. So one is the circadian rhythm, which is a 24-hour cycle that's part of the body's internal clock. This clock is synchronized with environmental cues like light, which is why the circadian rhythms are tied to the cycle of day and night. It controls the timing of sleep and when you feel tired or awake. So for example, you might find yourself feel tired when it gets darker out. It's also common to feel tired in the afternoon, called the afternoon slump, and this is also a result of your circadian rhythm. And circadian rhythms not only control sleep, but they also direct a variety of functions, including body temperature, metabolism, and the release of hormones. Now, the sleep-wake homeostasis keeps track of your need for sleep and is triggered by chemicals in the brain. So with sleep-wake homeostasis, the longer you are awake, the greater your body senses the need to sleep. And vice versa, as we sleep, we regain that homeostasis and our need for sleep decreases. This cycle works alongside with the circadian rhythms to help control our sleepiness and alertness. And there are a number of factors that can affect our sleep-wake balance, such as medical conditions, medications, stress, sleep environment, nutrition, and exposure to light. We will touch on this more later when we discuss how to get a good night's sleep. All right, so how many hours of sleep should we really be getting? The CDC recommends that a healthy adult should get about 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night to be able to function at their best. However, it's important to understand that this is a recommendation and you may find that you need more sleep than is recommended. For example, some people with pre-existing health conditions or individuals who use more energy during the day, like those who work a labor-intensive job or those who are extremely active, may find that they need more sleep in order to optimally function. So this recommendation is a good starting point, but it's also very dependent on what works best for you and how happy you find yourself after how much sleep you're getting. So if we move on here, we're going to start talking about sleep hygiene. So the term sleep hygiene refers to a series of healthy sleep habits that can improve your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep. And you may be wondering why we're using the word hygiene when we're referring to sleep. Hygiene implies certain steps that lead to an intended result. So dental hygiene involves consistent brushing and flossing in order to keep your teeth clean. Sleep works in a similar way. So getting an adequate amount of sleep and following a proper sleep routine leads to better and more refreshing sleep. And why is it important? Getting proper sleep is vital for a number of functions. Prioritizing your sleep routine can not only help you feel more awake during the day, but it also has a number of physical and cognitive benefits. It contributes to a healthier and stronger immune system, helps to prevent weight gain, and it strengthens the heart. It has also been shown to improve mood, memory, concentration, and overall cognitive function. On the other hand, lack of sleep can affect your hormones and lead to a number of consequences, including impaired glucose tolerance, cognitive decline, daytime fatigue, obesity, cardiovascular diseases, high blood pressure, increased anxiety and depression, and an increased risk of falls. So now I'm going to turn it over to Sydney to talk more about how to get a good night's sleep.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about barriers to good sleep. So the survey results we talked about earlier matched a consensus for more than a third of American adults. People just aren't getting enough sleep on a regular basis, and this is due to many barriers. So this can be increased screen time, our culture of toxic productivity, major health factors like stress, anxiety, and pain, and environmental factors that exist in our homes and our bedrooms. So starting with increased screen time, this is due to many of us having constant access to TVs, phones, laptops, and tablets, and spending time looking at screens which are lit up by artificial lighting or blue light within the screen of those devices. And this light is similar to direct sunlight, so using devices near bedtime can interfere with our internal clock or our circadian rhythms that Ella talked about. And this can trick our brain into thinking it's daytime and not time for bed. And the same blue light also can suppress melatonin, which is a chemical in our brains that helps our mind and body transition into sleep, which can also just in general affect our ability to get to sleep and stay asleep, which is melatonin's job. Next, the American culture of toxic productivity also contributes because people are generally more stressed. They're more focused on productivity, getting things done, and having a huge array of work and life duties. So this gets in the way of rest and relaxation, which affects our ability to get adequate sleep. Next, the health factors. So those are specifically stress, anxiety, pain, things that keep us up at night and just are uncomfortable in our bodies. Again, they just affect our ability to relax. Lastly, environmental factors. So those are things going on in and around our bedrooms that can impact our ability to get sleep, such as too much noise, too much light, psychological discomfort, uncomfortable temperature, or general discomfort in our bodies. So what makes a good sleep routine? So these are the next couple of slides are our major tips that research has proven to work for plenty of people. It might not always work for you, but there's a good array of them, so hopefully some of them will. First, avoid using your bed for activities other than sleeping or intimacy. So you really want to associate that space with just sleeping. That's part of sleep hygiene, in which things have a specific use and they are only used for that specific thing. Next, try not to go to bed unless you are actually tired. This helps create a mental association with, again, your bed being for sleep. But sometimes you do have to go to bed at a certain time because you got a busy day tomorrow, but in general, trying to follow that rule. Along that point, if you don't fall asleep after 20 minutes of trying to fall asleep, getting out of bed and doing a quiet activity or something that makes you feel tired enough to want to go back to bed can also help. And then making attempts to limit light exposure and exposure to screens before bedtime, really getting in that like dark is for sleep kind of setup. Other factors to limit or avoid or reduce are daytime napping, alcohol consumption, especially around bedtime, stimulants like coffee or nicotine, having them afternoon because then they can still be present in your body when it's bedtime and can keep you up, and the amount of liquid consumed in the evening. Think about like having to get up and go pee in the night. I think someone is muted. Thank you. Next, establishing a relaxing bedtime routine and trying to maintain it, because those habits that you keep make patterns in your brain, and having that little mental track can really just get you to sleep if you follow that similar pattern. So within that, deciding on a bedtime and attempting to maintain it within like an hour on either side, if you need to vary it. Preparing your bedroom to the best of your ability to make it a comfortable and quiet sleep environment. Having a light bedtime snack or tea if you feel like you're hungry at night and that's something that's keeping you up. Taking a warm bath if that's something you like. Writing down a to-do list or journaling to clear your head before bed so you're not thinking about, oh, I need to remember to do this tomorrow. Oh, I'm thinking about this and it's bothering me. It's keeping me awake. Kind of just writing that out of your system and out of your mind. And then trying relaxation or breathing exercises to calm your body or your mind if that feels helpful to you. And because this is a Come Alive Outside workshop, all 5 Come Alive Outside principles can affect your sleep habits and your sleep health. Being active outside, that fresh air is always good for your sleep. Eating a healthy diet, again, also good for your sleep. The healthier you are, better sleep you likely are going to get. Learning and getting exercise in a fun and productive way, spending time in nature and getting that fresh air again, and spending time away from screens, spending time unplugged. So all of those are also things that are going to help your sleep. So on the relaxation exercise point, we're going to do a little exercise right now. This will be included in the handout that Ella is going to share with us later during the presentation. So don't worry about trying to remember it. I'm just going to read through the script for it. It says to do this in your bed, but it works fine wherever you're sitting right now. You can do it sitting up. This is called progressive muscle relaxation. It's like a full body stretch you can do without really moving. And here we go. You can close your eyes. You can keep them open, whatever is comfortable for you. So you're going to lie down in a quiet space and breathe steadily as you progress in the following order. Lift your eyebrows and wrinkle your forehead, tense all the way up to the crown of your head, and slowly relax and let the tension flow down your face. Close your eyes, really squeeze them really tight, relax and slowly open them. Tense your lips, your cheeks, and your jaw muscles, grimace and clench them, move them around, really tighten them up, and then let them relax. Feel a sense of serenity come over your face as you relax all those little facial muscles at once. Now bring your shoulders towards your ears, tensing your muscles, and then slowly let them relax. Move them around in their sockets, tense them, and release them. Start with your upper arms, flex your biceps, all the way down to your elbows and your wrists. Just tense them and squeeze them. Rotate your wrists, move your fingers around, squeeze your fists, and then just let it all relax. Take a deep breath and tense the muscles within your chest and your abdomen. Squeeze really tight from inside. Squeeze your stomach, squeeze your ribs, feel it all kind of clench in, and then slowly relax and let them all open. Flex the muscles in your back as you lay on them in bed and then relax. Release the stress and the tension. Fully let yourself lie. Then tighten the muscles in your hips and your legs and your lower legs. Rotate your ankles, tighten your feet. Just really squeeze and move everything around. And then just let them loose. Finally, flex your leg muscles together, squeeze them, relax. Turn your feet towards you and away from you, clear your toes. And then slowly let everything return to neutral. From your head, down your neck, your arms, your torso, your legs to your toes. Breathe in and breathe out. You can go from the bottom back to the top as many times as you want. And that is progressive muscle relaxation. Now I'm going to hand it over to Eliza.
Hi, everyone. My name's Eliza. I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about some sleep safety tips. Okay, so first, we've been talking about a lot of, tips and tricks that you can do to help you get a better night's sleep. But there are some cases where, you have a actual sleep disorder that might need more help from a doctor. So we're going to talk about some of these sleep disorders that exist and when you might want to consult a doctor about them. So on the next slide, we list some common sleep disorders. I'm not sure if the slide is up yet. Oh, there we go. Okay. So the first one we'll talk about is insomnia. So chronic insomnia refers to the inability to fall asleep or to remain asleep. It can be caused by stress and anxiety, hormones, digestive problems, and it may also be a symptom of another condition. Now, you may experience little bouts of insomnia here or there, but I'm more referring to chronic insomnia, meaning weeks on end, you really cannot sleep, and that would definitely be a good time to consult your doctor. The next one would be sleep apnea, which is a more common one. It's characterized by pauses in breathing during your sleep. This is a serious medical condition because the body is taking in less oxygen during those pauses in breathing. And it can also cause you to wake up during the night. And usually this is characterized by pretty loud snoring. Not all snoring means sleep apnea, but if you are having that concern and you feel like that may be describing you, then definitely see a doctor. The next couple of classes of sleep disorders are called parasomnias. And this class of sleep disorders causes abnormal movements and behaviors during sleep. This can include sleepwalking, sleep talking, groaning, nightmares, bedwetting, teeth grinding, jaw clenching, pretty common stuff. And usually those things might not impact you enough to not get a good night's sleep. But if you are sleepwalking every night, having terrible nightmares and stuff like that, that can definitely negatively impact your sleep. The next one is called restless leg syndrome, and that is an overwhelming need to move the legs. It's an urge that can't be relieved unless you move your legs at night. You can't just, lie still, do a breathing exercise and have it all be okay. It's usually a pretty powerful urge. And while some of these symptoms can occur during the day, they're most prevalent at night because during the day you're walking around moving, you might not notice the symptoms as much as you would at night. And that can make it pretty hard to fall asleep when you feel the urge to constantly move your body. Narcolepsy is the last one I'm going to talk about, and that's characterized by something called sleep attacks, and that can occur while awake. This means you'll suddenly feel extremely tired, you'll fall asleep without warning. It can be kind of dangerous because it can cause you to fall, or it's just a pretty serious condition. You should definitely get checked out. And also secondary narcolepsy can occur if you had an injury to a deep part of your brain called the hypothalamus that regulates your sleep. So there's 2 different types of narcolepsy that you can have. So some symptoms to seek out medical attention with if you are experiencing them would be if your symptoms of insomnia last longer than 4 weeks or interfere with daytime activities and ability to function. Obviously, you can see a doctor anytime that you are concerned about insomnia, but 4 weeks is a pretty long time to not be getting that good sleep that you need. And it can definitely affect your daily life, your ability to function. Another one would be if you're waking up many times during the night, gasping for breath, snoring very loudly. Again, those are some symptoms of sleep apnea. So if you're waking up and you're feeling like you're lacking oxygen, you're breathing heavily, then that's probably a sign to go see a doctor. Another one would be excessive daytime sleepiness. This is usually a symptom of narcolepsy, and it's when you are often tired during the day, even though you slept for at least 7 hours the night before. So this is when it doesn't matter how many hours of sleep you're getting, you're just always feeling tired. That's definitely something to get checked out. And then sleeping more than 10 hours per night on a regular basis, that again, like I said, is a sign of secondary narcolepsy. Not in all cases, but it could be worth checking out. And then again, if you're regularly experiencing sleep paralysis, hallucinations when falling asleep, sudden muscle weakness when awake, those are things you should get checked out. And then lastly, if your medications are keeping you awake or causing excessive drowsiness, these can be any medications you're taking. It's worth seeing your doctor to see if you can adjust those medications, because there definitely are some out there that have side effects of insomnia. Okay, and then we are going to talk about safety at night on the next slide. So these are just things you can do to make sure that you are getting safe sleep. It'll give you sound of mind when you're going to sleep to know that you're safe. The first one would be to have a lamp within reach that's easy to turn on, just in case you want to get up during the night and you want to have a well-lit path so you're not tripping on anything. The next one would be to have a glass of water next to the bed in case you wake up thirsty, so you don't have to get up out of bed, disturb your whole, sleep cycles. And then the next one would be to remove area rugs, clothing, and other clutter so that you don't trip if you get out of bed at night. Again, just want to really remove all the tripping hazards that we possibly can to prevent falls. The next one would be to make sure you have smoke alarms on each floor of your home. That's just a general safety tip, but when you're sleeping at night, you want to make sure that if anything happens, you have smoke alarms that are working. Also, before going to bed, lock all your windows and doors that lead outside, and that can give you peace of mind as well. Also, keeping a telephone with emergency phone numbers by your bed. And also being aware that sleeping pills may interact with some of your other medications and cause balance problems, confusion, delirium, disorientation, which increases the risk of falls and accidents. So there are sleeping pills out there that are available. They are intended for short-term use. And like I said, they can interact with other medications. So definitely, if you're feeling like you could benefit from those, consult with your doctor, make sure you talk through all of the risks and all of that. So for the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about how to get back to sleep after waking up. So these are just some more tips that you can try out, see if they work for you. One of them would be to really take care of the environment around you, get rid of bright lights and loud sounds. sometimes easier said than done if you are a parent or if you have grandkids and they're running around, all that stuff. But just do your best to make sure your sleep environment is nice and calm. Also, getting out of bed and moving. If you're lying in bed for 20 minutes and you can't get to sleep, and I know for me at least, I start getting anxious. Why can't I go to sleep? Sometimes the best thing to do is just get out of bed, distract yourself, move around, wait until you're tired, and then try going back to bed. Also, on that same note, avoiding staring at the clock, counting down how many minutes it's been since you've tried going to sleep. That can get a little disruptive to your, sleep. And then also avoiding checking your phone or other screens. Like we mentioned before, the blue light can have a negative impact on your sleep. And then doing meditation or breathing exercises. You could try the one that we just did, but there's also many out there that are available that you can just Google. You could be listening to music or just taking deep breaths. That could be as simple as that. Relaxing your muscles, doing a body scan like we just did. Really being aware of every part of your body, making sure you're not holding tension anywhere. Also keeping the lighting as low as possible and safe, like we were saying. Having a lamp at the bedside table is great, but you definitely want to try to turn off all the lights in your room when you're going to sleep. And then focusing on something boring can help. I don't know, it's tax season. You can focus on taxes, math, whatever it is that you find very boring, focus on that. And also listening to relaxing music. It can be helpful. Meditation, like we were mentioning before, is, a nice way to go to sleep. And then one that's not on there you could try would be aromatherapy if you have an oil diffuser, or maybe lighting a candle, but making sure that you blow out that candle before you go to bed. That is a highway to the danger zone. Don't want any fires being started. So just make sure you're doing all this safely. Okay, so those are just some tips and tricks that we went over. And now we're going to have you guys try to create your own sleep routine. My teammate Ella made this beautiful graphic for you guys to kind of like fill out the steps of your sleep routine. And we also put the tips and tricks that we, mentioned on that graphic as well, so you can remember those. So she shared it in the chat. If you guys want to go into the chat and click on that link, it should bring you right to that graphic. And we will give you about 5 minutes or so just to take your time to fill that out. And then we'll be here if you have questions about anything that you want to include in your sleep routine. And this is all for you guys. So include whatever you want, make it your own. Yeah. And if you're having trouble with the graphic, with like actually typing onto it on your screen, you can always just write it down on a sheet of paper in front of you instead. So that works too. Okay, so it gives you to about 12:40 to do that.
Is everyone able to find the link okay?
Should be at the very top of the chat, but we can send it again just to make sure. And it should say fillable CAO sleep graphic.
I just sent it again. So you may have to just wait a moment. It should be in there a couple times for you.
Looks like there's still some difficulties.
Yes, it is actually a Word document, not a link. Sorry about that. So it's that little W that you see. Oh, thank you, Hope. It is beautiful. Ella did a great job. yeah, feel free to share it with your employees, with anyone, your friends. It's really for your own benefit and for everyone's benefit. Maybe about 2 more minutes on those. Again, if you have any questions, just let us know.
I think there must be something with software or something like that for who's able to access it, because I haven't been able to see it in my chat either. So I'm curious about that. However, for people who aren't able to access it within this time period, we did talk to other members of Come Alive Outside who have access to the Facebook chat. So we will be posting this document within the Facebook chat as well. So if you're part of that, you should be able to have access well after this meeting as well. But sorry if it's not going through for you.
We can also talk to Myra about emailing it out to people who cannot access it. So maybe at the end of our presentation, we can get some of the emails of people who are not able to get it. And it's 12:40, so we are going to continue with our final part of the presentation. I hope everyone had some luck with writing their sleep routine, but if not, there's always time for that after. Okay, so we're going to go to the summary. So first point is that failure to obtain enough both deep sleep and REM sleep may explain some of the profound consequences of insufficient sleep on thinking, emotions, and physical health. Like we said, those sleep cycles are really important for restorative sleep. Also, the term sleep hygiene refers to a series of healthy sleep habits that can improve your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep. Good sleep hygiene can prevent weight gain, boost the immune system, improve cognition, as well as a bunch of other good stuff. It's very important to establish a relaxing bedtime routine. This can include things like turning off electronics 30 minutes before bed, going to sleep around the same time every night, and using breathing or meditation to relax the body. But like, you know that we've talked about so many tips. So there's a lot of things you can try. Also seeking out medical attention if you're experiencing symptoms that could be related to a sleep disorder, like chronic insomnia, sleep apnea, parasomnias, restless leg syndrome, or narcolepsy. And there are also other sleep disorders out there that exist, but those are some of the most common ones. And then practicing sleep safety by removing all tripping hazards from the floor, having a lamp at the bedside, and limiting use of sleep medications. In some cases, there are medications that you can take, like melatonin, that are more natural because it's a naturally occurring hormone in the body. So melatonin, there's also things like Tylenol PM that are common, but definitely before you take any of these things, even if it seems, non-harmful, like Tylenol PM or melatonin, consult with your doctor, see what they say, and maybe that could be an option for you, medication. And that is the last slide of our presentation. So if you guys have any questions, we can type them in the chat and we will answer them. I believe we did have one question that Ella will read out to us.
Yes, so a question from earlier is, does a Kindle cause the same issues as a phone or other device? And I can actually speak on that quickly. So any electronic device does have blue light. It does kind of depend on what Kindle you have. I know some of them are the ones that don't have any light, but a lot of them now are the ones that do have light. But we're not here to tell you to never use your Kindle again. There are ways to kind of help reduce that blue light getting to you. So I know on some Kindles and on most of our phones or other devices, there is some kind of toggle that you should be able to turn on a blue light shade or turn on a night mode, something like that. There's also things called blue light blocking glasses, which kind of have a yellowish orange tint that are meant to cancel out that blue light coming in. And those can be super helpful when even during the daytime, just looking at your computer, using any of your screens, those can help kind of reduce those consequences of looking at blue light at night. Does that kind of answer your question? And then another question that I saw is there an aroma that helps with sleep more than others? I don't know if any of the group members want to speak on that.
I actually just looked it up a little bit, and it says that some of the best ones to help foster relaxation and sleep are lavender, chamomile, bergamot, jasmine, rose, and sandalwood. So that could be like a scented candle or an essential oil that you put in like a diffuser. You could even rub some like on your wrists so that, or, spray it on your pillow if you have a spray. But also, like we mentioned, like having tea, like chamomile tea without any caffeine in it, could be a good aromatherapy and a like relaxing warm drink to have before bed. So yeah.
I know I can say I have a lavender essential oil diffuser, and I love that. It makes me feel very relaxed in the evenings. And so Barbara asked, does getting 4 to 6 hours of good sleep? Okay. And I can speak on this one. I talked a little bit about the recommendations. So the CDC does recommend that 7 to 9 hours a day. And getting less than that consistently can often lead to a lot of health effects, a lot of negative health effects. So it's really important if you're able to try to get more sleep than that 4 to 6. But again, like I said, some things are not always possible. I know that it's not gonna be possible to get a full 9 hours of sleep every night. But definitely I would suggest start attempting to get more hours of sleep, maybe going to bed a little earlier or at least starting that sleep hygiene process earlier. So another question came in, what about if you get a 4 to 6 hours of sleep at night and take a nap during the day? All right, I can speak on that one as well. As I talked about in the stages of sleep, the most beneficial sleep is that deep sleep and REM sleep. And like I said, you don't typically enter that REM sleep until after about 90 minutes of being asleep. So oftentimes taking a nap during the day is not giving you that same restorative and healing sleep that you need to help bolster your immune system and help improve cognition and things like that. So I would more suggest trying to get more hours of sleep at night. And if you're still feeling tired during the day, taking short naps, like a short nap during the day, kind of a power nap, if you will, is more beneficial than trying to rely on a daytime nap to get those benefits of sleep. Another question came in from Linda. I understand that weighted covers can make a difference. Do you have thoughts on that?
I can speak on that one. I have a weighted cover and so does my mom. And I think they really work. I don't know really the research behind it. It's just personal experience. But it does feel like a heavy hug. If you feel like you're someone who can't get comfortable at night, I feel like it definitely gets you in a good physical space on your bed.
I also just looked it up briefly, and it says that weighted blankets use like deep pressure stimulation, which is thought to stimulate the release of serotonin, which is a mood boosting hormone, reduce the stress hormone cortisol, and increase levels of melatonin, which helps you sleep. So there is science behind weighted blankets and the hormones that it releases to help you sleep. So.
And thank you, Bella added in the chat about 20 minutes is the recommended time for a nap. And another question came in about, I've read a little about the different types of sleep patterns, monophasic, biphasic, or polyphasic. Any thoughts?
I can actually take this one.
Bella's got that one.
Yeah. So I believe with the terms monophasic, biphasic, polyphasic, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you're talking about sleeping, say, your 8 hours a night, and that is your rest time, sleeping in smaller chunks, maybe during the night, but then taking a longer nap in the day. And then polyphasic is taking lots of short duration rests, but not really having a full night's sleep at any one point. And I've also read a little bit about this because it is a really interesting category. And in a lot of different cultures, people do have different ideas of what a normal sleep routine is. And we're really discussing this mainly from our Western viewpoint of having a 1 fixed hour sleep. So yeah, I agree with you. I think it is a pretty interesting topic. The most important thing with a sleep routine, well, we would recommend getting that 7 to 9 hours. Ideally, that would be at the same time. But if you're someone who has a schedule that doesn't allow you to have that sleep all in one time, the most important factor in this is going to be routine. If you're having a different bedtime and wake up time every single day, and then you're taking naps at various points throughout the day, and it's different every day, your body's never going to be able to adjust to those sleep and waking cues. And it's gonna throw your body's hormones and sleep cycle pretty off kilter. So if you are someone who is interested, or maybe it works better for your lifestyle or your routine to break that up, then the recommendation would be really practicing those sleep hygiene cues and making sure you're getting those hours of sleep, but making it a fixed schedule so that your body can get used to that cycle as well.
Any,
I think that was everything in the chat. Does anybody have any other questions?
Well, if not, I really want to thank these ladies for this wonderful presentation and the knowledge that they have shared today. I will definitely send out this document that they've created, which I did make myself a plan because I need a plan. And so I really appreciate, what they've shared. And I did want to plug that next week on Thursday at 4, these same ladies will be doing another workshop about brain health. And so if you haven't signed up for that one, you can go into our website, Come Alive Outside, Adult Passports, and the virtual workshops, and sign up for the brain health one as well. And so if we don't have any more questions, we want to thank all of you very much for coming. Thank these 4 wonderful, going to be nurses soon, for sharing their research and knowledge with us today. And hope that you will join us next time on next Thursday.